Good evening, everyone. 6 p.m., September 17, a regular city council meeting. City attorney, anything from any action from the closed session?
Thank you, Mayor. The council convened in closed session to discuss the two items as listed on the agenda. The council received information from staff and provided direction, but there's no reportable action as defined under the Brown Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Here.
Councilmember Papineau?
Here.
Councilmember Farmer?
Here.
Councilmember Vandenberg?
Here.
Mayor Sandu?
Here. Please join us for silent prayer and flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, may I have a replay statement?
This meeting of the Galt City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Thursday, September 19th at 6 p.m. and Saturday, September 21st at 9 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14.
Thank you. Next agenda item E, council, any agenda approval, addition and or deletion? If none, then next agenda item is F, presentation. Number 1, subject, Beautification Committee Annual Report for Fiscal Year 2023 and 2024.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Gail Weber, and I'm the Chair of the Galt Beautification Committee. It is my pleasure to present the Council with the Beautification Committee Annual Report for Fiscal Year 2023-2024. This report outlines the committee's responsibilities and activities. The Beautification Committee's mission is to enhance, restore, and beautify the city of Galt by advocating a high standard of community involvement, cleanliness, maintenance, and attractiveness. The purpose and function of the Beautification Committee is to act as an advisory committee to the City Council and make recommendations on projects designed to maintain and improve the appearance of public areas within the city. One thing that we had discussed is possibly looking into a Galt welcome sign with the service clubs on it after the C Street construction is done, and possibly murals around town. This year we focused on consistent road and area cleanups, Home of the Month, and Business of the Month. The email created last year that anyone could submit nominations to has still been active and receiving input from the citizens. We participate in the citywide cleanup for Earth Day and assisted code enforcement with different cleanup projects throughout the city this year. I would like to thank my fellow current committee members for their efforts, Paige Lamson, Amy Sandu, Darlene Brown, and Candy Delagrande. That concludes the Beautification Committee report to Council. I'd like to thank the Council for the opportunity to serve the community and to provide this report. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Gail. Thank you for giving us a detailed report. Council, any comment or any question?
I just want to say thank you for what you guys do. Obviously, as you know, Gail, I was part of that like 1,000 years ago now. But so I appreciate what you guys do. Beautification to me is a big deal in town, and your cleanup efforts, and you guys working with different organizations and continuing, that effort that you guys keep doing. So I just want to say thanks.
Except Lorenzo does all our work for us. It seems like he's ahead of us on areas.
Oh, you mean Lawrence?
Yeah, Lawrence.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So-
Yeah, I know. Well, it shows that that's been working, but I still think it's good, even if there's not a lot of garbage to pick up, you know, having these organizations out and having people take pride in their own community just makes them, I think that's a big piece of it too, not how much garbage they're getting, but yeah.
And one thing I'd like to say as part of being of Lahaim, that we have purchased a pet waste station because of issues we've had on our street. It is across the street from us at the corner of 4th and East Street, and we actually do see people using it. So we're going to hope that makes a difference too.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Galt.
Thank you. Next agenda item F2, next presentation, Commission on Aging Annual Report for fiscal year 2023 and 2024.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Brendan Moore, and I'm here representing the Commission on Aging. Thank you for the opportunity to present our end-of-the-year report to you. We've had a busy year and continue to try to find new and exciting activities and resources for our senior community. We are still averaging between 70 and 90 seniors every Monday for bingo at the Shabola Center, and they're all enjoying it very much. We recently hosted a senior casino trip, a trip to Red Hawk Casino, and have another one planned soon as well. The Galt Senior Resource Center has been offering senior seminars in conjunction with local businesses, providing information and resources such as Movement for Life physical therapy, talking about trip and fall hazards in the home, the Cosumnes Fire District coming in and giving demonstration on informational CPR techniques. The Galt Pharmacy is working on a vaccine drive for our seniors, and we have the cyber threat seminar coming up soon. In fact, that's this Thursday. The Galt Chamber of Commerce has also been planning a senior information fair to be held next Thursday, September 26th, with many businesses coming to participate. We have also been working with the Valhalla Club of Galt to organize a gifts and resource bag to residents of our senior care homes in the area. And we are in the process of trying to create more monthly social activities for our seniors. Things such as senior walks at Galt Community Park, storytelling at the library, or senior doggy meet and greets at the dog park. Perhaps showcasing a local Galt senior in the newspaper each month is also in our plans. We continue to strive to make the Galt community a safe and healthy place for our senior population. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the detailed information. Thank you for the detailed report about this commission.
You're very welcome.
Any other comment by the council? If it's not, then I'm
Mayor,
going to.
we have a public comment on F2. We have a public comment for this
Yeah, sure.
agenda item. Kendley?
Hello, I'm Ken Lee. I'd like to comment on how the Commission on Aging benefits me at age 70. They have weekly bingo with gift cards to the eateries. That's the only way I get to go out and eat a lot. And they have nice raffle prizes. And the bingo is fair and honest. I get notified on senior activity. We got the casino bus trip and the Meals on Wheels service there for lunch. And basically, they assist and serve the bingo players that need snacks served to them because of the immobility of them. So I'm waiting for more things that they can benefit us for. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken Lee, for your public comment. Next agenda item is.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something real quick? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Thank you. I just want to bring up too, I really appreciate what the Commission on Aging does. The bingo has been a real big success and all of the stuff you guys are doing. But I also just want to bring this up because, mainly because there's a lot of people that are involved with the Commission on Aging that are in the room right now, that I really would hope in the future that we would hear more from the Commission on Aging on not more just activities for seniors to do and fun things, but things that may be of concern for seniors. I would love to hear more from the Commission on Aging on, not right this moment, but, well, okay. So, and that's great. I just feel like, I feel like, you know, the role of that commission is a broad one, and I feel like I don't want you guys to get pigeonholed into this is just fun things for seniors. I think there's a lot of things. So, anyways, I just want to bring that up. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I have a comment as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
It's
Yeah, good, Vice Mayor.
Okay, so I would agree with that. I think that we have some things in the community that are affecting seniors that don't always get heard by the full council. And I know that a lot of our commissioners are out doing good work in trying to do what they can to help our senior population in terms of living conditions and other things. And I just want to point out that Joan Werblin has done also a lot of work with the chamber on bringing the senior resource fair. And so I know it was mentioned, but I want to plug it again next Thursday from 9 to 3. 10 to 3, sorry. Thank you, Kat. 10 to 3 is the Senior Resource Fair with many, many, many opportunities for seniors to have interactive conversations about topics that are near and dear to our hearts. So certainly want to bring that up. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Phil Johnson, do you have a public comment on this?
John, can you make sure that's on for her, please?
Are we on?
Yep.
Okay. This Thursday, there's a program for the senior citizens that's quite important. It's going to be from 12 to 2. It has been advertised. It's regarding cybersecurity by a criminal investigator who's out of the Sacramento Department of the Attorney General's office, who does this worldwide. I've had him, this will be the third time I've had him, twice for the retirees and now for Galt. He gives a beautiful presentation, but he explains everything that we would never even think of. And unfortunately, the seniors are the targeted group over anything. For instance, oh, your grandson's in jail, bail him out. Oh, so-and-so's in Europe, can't get home, bail him out. Well, he goes way beyond that, because he deals with this all the time, and he himself has to go out and do some of the investigating. A lot of times he cannot even give his real name because of it. And he's due here Thursday from 12 to 2 for the seniors. Thank you. At Shabala Center. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Phil Johnson, give us all this information. Thank you. Move to the next agenda item, F3. Parks and Recreation Commission Annual Report Fiscal Year 2023 and 2024.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and other council members. I'm Carrie Graham. I'm representing the Parks and Rec Commissioners. That include Aaron Saldivar, who actually resigned in November 2023. We had a vacant position, Ernie Kaysen Jr., myself, Carrie Graham, Jed McNamara, and Chris Smith. They were all part of our commission. They all served very proudly, and we've had a lot of accomplishments. In July, we weren't able to have a meeting due to lack of quorum. And then we had another one for the election of a chairperson and co-chairperson. We also covered the field priority order recommendations and the Simmerhorn Ranch project. In September, we addressed the corporate yard update, park division staffing, and the pickleball courts. November is when Commissioner Salvador resignation, and the park master plan was talked about. January was Dagora Aquatic Center and the replacement of the slide and the options recommendations, and the Jabola Skate Park for improvement options and recommendations. In March, we had an election for chairperson and was moved to the next Parks and Rec meeting on May 8th. And we also covered the Liberty Ranch Park update. In May 8th, we had the election for chairperson and moved to the next commission meeting on July 10th of 2024. Any questions?
Thank you for the report. Thank you for the detailed report. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right, if there is no question and there is no information, I'm going to move to the next agenda item, F4. Planning Commission Annual Report for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Good evening, Mayor Sandu, Council, staff. My name is Jeff Hood. I'm the chair of the Galt Planning Commission. And it's my pleasure to present the Council with the Planning Commission's annual report for the fiscal year 2023-2024. And you have it in front of you, I believe. This report outlines our responsibilities and activities with the Commission. So the Planning Commission plays a vital role in ensuring the continued growth and success of the City of Galt by taking action on a variety of development applications and guaranteeing that the integrity of the city's general plan is maintained and city ordinances are followed. The Planning Commission makes decisions on entitlements such as subdivision maps, design review, use permits, and variances. And the Commission will also make recommendations to the City Council on amendments to the general plan and the development code. So the Commission worked on a number of high-profile projects this year. Even though we have a fairly thin report, we met only 5 times in the last year. But some of the items that we worked on included the rezone and tentative subdivision map for the Lippy Ranch subdivision project and notice of preparation for the cow waste solid waste transfer facility project. The Planning Commission also made recommendations to the City Council to approve the Housing Element Annual Report, and you know how controversial that can be around this state. We did that for 2023, and we approved the annual capital improvement plan, general plan conformance check, just to make sure that the general plan projects are in line with the general plan, and we recommended approval of that. This past year, we've also tried to allow for greater public comment and input by allowing including more public workshops and study sessions, because we really want to have the commission level before a lot of the things come to the council. We want to work out a lot of the details in advance, so by the time something comes to the council, we've hashed through a lot of the, if there's disagreements, we've hashed through that. And also, a lot of times in our meetings, we actually hold the developers to a higher standard than they really are kind of wanting to go with, because a lot of times they provide us with plans for a project that might be approved in a lot of other communities. And we always try to raise the bar a little bit to try to make it more compatible with the surrounding uses, and also to to give the city a development that it can be proud of. So at the Commission, we appreciate the opportunity to work with staff and dive into development projects as well as the general plan and ordinance amendments. And we don't hesitate to roll up our sleeves and get to work in order to make projects work for Galt and the citizens, because we see it as a balancing act between the interests of the property owners, developers under state law. There's a lot of things that we're pretty much forced to abide with as long as it meets certain standards, but also the impact on our existing residents, because we had one, as you see in one of the projects that we reviewed back in July, we denied it 5-0. They did not appeal that to the council because it did not fit for what they were planning. And also, there were dozens of residents around this vacant property who were promised that something else would be coming, and to pull the rug out from under them and have something else put there, it was not fair to people who invested a lot of money in their homes. So I'd like to thank my current commissioners for their efforts, Vice Chair Dan Denier, Keith Jones, Dan Gerling, and Bonnie Rodriguez. They all bring a great perspective. We have great discussions at the Planning Commission, and we always feel that we've done something. We've reviewed these proposals over in detail, had good discussions, and what we send on, whether it's to the council or just simple approval at our level, we think it's for in the best interest of the city. So with that concludes the presentation and report, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for the detailed information, and especially that our planning commissioner, they have a very vital role in all the development. They are advisory committee to the council. Council make a lot of decision about the development. So thank you for you, and thank you for all your commissioners.
Thanks very much.
Anybody have any?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say
Yes, sure.
thank you, Jeff. I appreciate your presentation. And what property was it that you were referencing that was turned down 5-0? I was just curious.
The Morelia Estates.
Okay, okay. You know, we all know, at least most of us know, the Planning Commission is like the most important. I mean, development in Galt is a very sensitive topic. So what you guys do, even though, like you said, a lot of it's out of your hands and you don't have a lot of power in some instances, but I do appreciate what you guys do with really diving into some projects and making sure that, you know, you don't just say, fine, you know, it is what it is, because it'd be easy to do that if it's mandated, but you do have power and you do have control of what things look like, and then I appreciate you guys always exercising that, and I appreciate, you know, your guys' honest opinions that come to the council, and I'm a little sad because, you know, with the elections coming up, you know, the makeup of the Planning Commission could be disrupted. I really like the Planning Commission. I like all of you. I get that you all bring something different to the table. And so hopefully some of you maybe maybe reappointed. I would encourage each of you, if you're interested in continuing, to reach out to new council members and express that desire. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you again, Jeff, and thank you to all of you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Next, move to the next agenda item, G. Madam Clerk, public comment.
We do have public comment.
Please, can you read that?
Phyllis, you're up again. John, she might need some help again.
Madam Clerk, can you
I
read?
believe we're okay now.
I apologize. One moment, Phyllis.
Okay, unfortunately,
Phyllis, hold on one second while I read the public comment statement. Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the City Council on non-agenda items. The public comment sections is for the City Council to receive comments. Except for brief responses to questions, no discussion or actions may be taken on the item that is not listed on the agenda. Please limit the comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Consistent with the City Council procedural guidelines, the mayor reserves the right to shorten the time limit for speakers to ensure the efficient and timely completions of all city business on the agenda.
Thank you.
No, my apologies.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
we're okay now. Unfortunately, I have to report a bogus ticket that I was issued. The ticket was issued on August 1st when I was the assigned commissioner for the trip to go to Red Hawk Casino. We had an 8:30 check-in in front of Tribala Center. I was there at 8:27. I parked in the disabled parking. Therefore, the line was already out to the sidewalk. They were my first priority. Mr. Solis came to me and asked how I was doing. I said, okay. He replied the same from him. I now know what he meant. I guess he said I was parking on the sidewalk. I thought he said I was parking over the line. I looked at the line and it looked okay, so I said, okay, and I went about my business. I come back at 5 o'clock and there's what looked like a very faded paper on my windshield. I thought it was an ad. I didn't even think it was a ticket. I could hardly read it, so I went to the police department to get a clarification and a better reading. Okay, I was in the disabled parking with disabled placards. I'll admit, I overshot the blue boundary. One wheel was on the sidewalk. Now, my question is, from a bus, even from a car, from a van, has to have 4 wheels, don't it? So the vehicle was not parked on the sidewalk. The wheel was on the sidewalk. That's number one. Number two, it claims in the law it has to be dangerous. I don't see where that's dangerous, to tell you the truth. So I think the ticket is bogus. It's a waste of the officer's time where the officer could be somewhere else doing criminal stuff or whatever. That's a threat to the people. So that's a waste of taxpayers' money. And last but not least, I was going to challenge the ticket. And I asked the police department about it, and the lady was very nice. She told me how to go about it. She said, but we have a photo. I said, okay, I want to know anyway. But then I thought about it a few days later, and I said, and I'm going to be a little off color. If the city of Galt is that hard up for the money, I'll give them the $43, but I give them more than that anyway, because I do serve on the commission and wherever I can. I was going to bring it tonight and present it to the mayor. and the body. But that would have made it late, and the 43 would have been $86 because it would never reach them in 2 days. So I paid it electronically. But my thing is, we're supposed to be helping the seniors. This is a double insult. Reason being, first of all, thank God I have no other tickets, so they couldn't impound my vehicle or pull my license. Most people would have trouble even paying maybe the $43 because we're on fixed incomes. Everything's going up except for our monies. So I consider it a senior division of insult and a totally bogus ticket. And there's 3 things that should be ticketed that are not. Passing a stop sign, that's dangerous. Not yielding in the roundabout, that's dangerous. 50 in a 25-mile zone and they bleep at you for going 25, that's dangerous. This is a waste of our taxpayers' money, our officers' time and effort, and I consider it bogus altogether. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I did hear it. Chief, whenever you get a chance, maybe communicate with her of the meeting. Thank you, sir. Any other public comment?
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
We have Ken Lee.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to bring up things like, did the city officials have any, officers have any updates on the old Rite Aid building? I talked to a grocery outlet. They're interested. I talked to Planet Fitness. You know, we need a low-income money challenge for the seniors to go shopping. And for Planet Fitness, we need somebody that honors the senior silver sneakers. And the Medicare Senior Active Fitness. That's part of our medical plan. None of the health clubs here take it. We have to go to Lodi or Oak Grove. And basically, in the year coming, I heard there's a citywide, you know, to find out if you're considering county-wide bus service in the future. We need a fixed route in Galt. Maybe you can try flea market days to see how many people would ride it to the flea market. That way I can get a low-cost day pass, similar to Lodi, which is $1.25 to ride all their buses all day long. It's $3.50 in Sacramento, and I can go all the way to Folsom. And so basically, we need a set schedule, hourly, like Lodi. Unlike Dial-A-Ride, you have to call for pickup, and that takes up to 2 hours sometimes to wait. And then when you get to your destination like Walmart, you have to call them again for pickup. And then you're not knowing how long it's going to be. It could be 30 minutes up to 2 hours. And that time, your frozen food melts. I'd like to comment on the men's room. It's beautiful, it's spacious, and it's sparkling clean. That's it.
Thank you, Kenley. Thank you. Madam Clerk, any other public comment?
We have 4 more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Next one is Carol Backer. And she handed out some paperwork for you guys.
Hello, my name is Carol Backert, and I reside at 540 Village Drive. And I provided you with a letter that I had written on June 30th and hand-delivered to all the departments that are signatory on the back, and they acknowledged that they had received it. And I'll just read the letter if that's okay. I would like to bring it to the City of Galt's attention that located in front of the above-mentioned address, which was at 329 South Lincoln Way, Galt, is a safety issue that needs your immediate attention. Please see attached photos. On Friday, June 28th at approximately 3 p.m., I exited my vehicle from the passenger side of my car and was parked in front of the Galt Getting Place and immediately tripped and fell, landing on my hip, elbow, and sustained scrapes to my toes and fingers. I have bruising and soreness, but no serious injuries, and I did not seek medical attention. When I attempted to walk to the building, I realized that this area that I was walking on, which is dirt, with a metal framing and sprinkler head were present, and I also attached a picture of it. Obvious vegetation was once there, that the lip of the metal framing, set significantly higher than the adjacent concrete, was the culprit of my fall. I believe this demands your immediate attention, and I would like to receive confirmation that this has been resolved. As my concern is this was allegedly reported prior to my incident, and is imperative that no further harm is sustained due to lack of follow-up. I'm a 74-year-old woman and was fortunate not to have any serious injuries. I really think the city attorney would like to not have any lawsuits against the city, and I don't want to see Galt ever spend any money on these types of things. Now, it seems like the solution has been to place 4 cones in that area, in that dirt area. And maybe the beautification committee can go over and plant a tree or something, but that's just not attractive, and it's not a permanent solution, and it's been well over 60 days. And the mayor did call me, and we spoke about it, but nobody has ever fixed this, so I'm just here to bring it to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for giving us all this information.
Next, we have Bonnie Rodriguez.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Today, I attended the Chamber's event with Senator Roger Nilo, and there was a little bit of a discussion, well, there's a lot of discussion, of course, about our small town and trying to compete against the big cities who have the ear because they have the people. And so what can our little city do to fight that one-size-fits-all mentality that comes out of Sacramento and even Washington, D.C. for that matter? And one of his suggestions, and he brought up it's the California rural counties. So I went and looked it up, and I'm hoping that with what I have to say, I know 3 of you, congratulations, Rich, by the way, 3 of you will be leaving, but there are some important meetings coming up before you vacate. And so I am asking that maybe you consider to do follow-up. So I did just a quick Google search to see what type of support, what type of community gatherings, organizations are there to help the rural cities fight the bigger areas, not necessarily fight the bigger areas, but to be heard and try to get out of this one-size-fits-all mentality. The housing element is one of those big things. We got grouped into that, and now we are supposedly have to double our sizes. That's not what Galt's about. We're small. We want to keep, that feel. And so there are organizations, and I don't know that we're part of them, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys are involved in them, but the California Rural Counties is one of them. Unfortunately, their next meeting is the 18th through the 20th, so that might be a little quick, can't get there, but maybe a few phone calls to see how we can get involved, how we can get the messaging from there, and maybe put out some of is anybody else asking how these small communities can stay small? Can we band together? There's a National Small Cities Council, and I thought, national, we're getting a little bureaucratic, but the chairperson is the mayor of Grass Valley. So we have someone local who's rural that probably are fighting all the same things and trying to keep their own communities smaller. And of course, I know everyone's involved with the League of California Cities, but within and under their umbrella, they have the Rural City Information Exchange. Sounds like it's rather new. Sounds like they're still trying to get their feet wet. What a great opportunity for the city of Galt to go in and say, hey, we want to be part of the solution for the rural cities. So that's what I'm here. I know the 18th through 20th might be pushing it for people, but maybe we can try to bring other communities in our area, the small communities, and let our voices be heard as a whole rather than just us individually trying to fight this one-size-fits-all mentality coming from the state. So if you have any questions, I can give you the information that I found. Like I said, it's just a quick Google search, but it's unfortunately on you guys before the end of December. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garris. Thank you. Thank you for giving all this information. Any council member want any comment on this? If it's not, then we're going to move the next.
We have a couple more. Chris
All right,
Brossman.
thank.
Good evening, City Council. I too wanted to go to Senator Nealo's meeting, but unfortunately it was about 9:30 to 10:30, I believe, this morning. And unfortunately for me, I've got appointments running all during that. But one of my concerns is the quality of life in Galt. And my quality of life every morning, sitting on 99 going north. I can leave my house at 6 a.m. now, and I'll be sitting at 2 miles an hour moving north on 99. Sometimes there's an accident, sometimes there's not. It's just a parking lot. On-ramps definitely seem to be more of the issue, and here we are approving more and more houses. Well, we all know we're a bedroom community. Most of the people are headed north. Where's Caltrans sit? I did my Google search. I couldn't figure it out. I think some of you guys sit on it, and maybe the Planning Commission has some strings that they can pull with Caltrans, because obviously it's beyond the city's side. But my mom had a saying that said the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I don't know that we're squeaking enough, because I look at Highway 50, and 50's getting big lanes. All the way up the El Dorado Hills has got 3 and 4 lanes running up there. We got 4 lanes going in from West Sac out to Davis and Dixon and all that neighborhood. And yet we face our 2 lanes every morning. And we hope that there's not an accident. And when there is an accident, the side streets are busy having construction, which I had fun on one Monday morning, because they're putting in a bridge. I just would like the city to look and make sure that we're pushing Caltrans button, to be honest with you. The number of accidents has got to be dramatic. I mean, I see them every week at least. I see numerous accidents on it, and it's all because we're sitting parked. My second thing is, since Lorenzo's departure, we've lost 2, and in my mind, good core Galt supervisors or directors. Understand, unfortunately, we're going to lose Matt. That doesn't make me happy either. I assume HR is doing exit interviews on all of these people. My fear is them being politicians to an extent. It's going to be more what is unsaid than what is said on the reasons they're leaving. I can tell you I've talked to the 2 previous that left, and money was a factor, but it wasn't the factor. I don't know about Matt. I haven't sat down and talked with Matt, and I don't know that he wants to talk, but we've lost 3, guys. We're losing our brain drain. We got a lot of people that went to high school here, and we lost them. Matt, I believe you grew up in the neighborhood too, but I don't know. You know, for me, something's going on, and I've talked to other folks that work for the city, and they say there is a different atmosphere than what they're used to. And I'm not going into specifics there. I'm not going into names there, but our HR needs to be looking at that, and the council needs to be looking at that, because if we continue to lose the people that we're losing, which in my mind are key people, those aren't replaceable. Those aren't the guys that you find. I mean, yeah, if you offer them $250,000 a year, they might come to work for us, but my mind, there's something in the environment, there's something in the air that is getting these people to jump ship as rapidly as they're jumping ship. Thank you very much for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
And we have Michaela Johnson and Becky Rowensby.
Good evening, everyone. We just wanted to tell you about something. We thought we would do it here so you would all hear it at the same time because we're going to ask for your support. So something that we're very proud of. My daughter will get into the specifics because she's smarter in that area. I can't really talk that well, but we're doing this, what is called a Maker's Mark at our place at Ronsby and Johnson at 628 C Street. We're so overwhelmed with the response that we've gotten from these kids. It's about an entrepreneurial spirit from these kids. They have to run their own booths, make their own stuff, take their own money. The parents are not allowed in the booth. If they are, they're disqualified. She's gonna go in the specifics, but we're giving away over $2,200 in cash, and we're so excited about it. So what we want from you is your support. We've got everything done except for people coming to shop. We don't know how many people will show up, and so we don't wanna do something like that and let these kids down. So we're asking everybody's support, and we need 4 judges, and I can guarantee you that we're gonna be talking to some of you unbiased judges so that you can help us for the community and give back. She's going to go over the specifics, but we'd really like your support in that. Can I give you each a flyer while she's talking?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michaela Johnson, and like she said, her and I have a local business off C Street. And we partnered with a global organization called Acton Academy, and they have put on local Makers Market or children business fairs all over the globe, and we have been approved and we're partnered with them, and they basically hand us a model and we push it out and put our own spin on it. We started with our goals set a little too low in my opinion because it was super easy to get sponsors. So far we have 11 sponsors, all of them local businesses, all of them that are having their children participate in. It is super important, as you guys know, Galt is made up of small local businesses, and we wanted to encourage children to think outside the box and potentially put together a business. I have 3 small kids, and they're always begging me to do like a lemonade stand and stuff. So selfishly, I do a lot of things for my kids, and then I like to bless the community, my mom and I, and put on these events at our business. The chamber is supporting us. We have already 32 approved booths, and we still have time for kids to sign up. That's over 50 kids participating in this. Like I said, we have 11 sponsors. I actually was getting phone calls from businesses asking to be sponsors, and they're like, why wouldn't you call us? And I said, like I said, our goals were probably set a little too low, but we've been overwhelmed and blessed with this. We're gonna be able to do $2,200 in prizes. We would love it. In the future, we're gonna try to grow this, and the chamber is gonna help us. We're gonna do a junior chamber so they understand the full concept of the business. We have judges that are involved, so not only do they get to keep their proceeds from their business, but we have another side of it with the judges, what she was talking about, and we broke it up into different age groups so that 6-year-olds aren't competing with 18-year-olds because concept of business is different at different ages. So the top entrepreneur in each age group is going to be winning $300, and then we have 3 categories within each age group that will be winning at least $50 in each category. So it's huge. It's a huge opportunity for these kids. Like I said, we plan to expand it next year, and we'll be reaching out if people are interested. We want the community to come out and shop these kids' booths so that they get the full idea of how to take cash, make change, sell their product, and learn the whole aspect of it. So again, if we could get community support, we've been putting this out in social media. The Galt Unified has pushed this out. We were approved to send out this information. And then again with you guys. So thank you for your time.
So the most important thing that we're nervous about is shopping, because everybody's willing to do everything, and it's going to be a great event, but we need people to come out from the community and shop these kids. So that's what we're asking.
So many different ideas. I'm blown away with how creative these kids have gotten. We're only accepting 2 similar booths, so we can't have 2 of the same, or more than 2 of the same booths, so that they have the opportunity to truly sell their product and be successful. So it's awesome. And if anyone wants more information, we have a whole landing page. They have to fill out information, how they're going to market, how they're going to profit, how they're going to get a loan. That was another thing too. We have businesses that are mentoring and sponsoring kids that can't afford it, because we wanted to reach the entire community, and there may not be kids that can afford to have a startup. And we have that problem solved as well. So.
And we did the booth cost because that's what happens, right? You have to pay to do it. It's like a Saturday market, but just for kids. So anyway, now you know. So we're going to be calling you to judge.
But let me be the first to thank you and the city of Galt for what you're doing. Come on, people.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Quick, Phyllis, hold on. Thanks, Phyllis, but I actually had a question. Well, are these cash businesses or?
This is not going to be, there's no taxes going to be collected. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
We're encouraging all cash to come so that the kids can do change, they can manage their money.
Okay.
We have 6 to 18-year-olds that are going to be learning how to do that.
I thought running Square might be a little bit much, but just wanted to confirm.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you,
just cash.
Okay, thanks.
We did set up a Venmo account, though, if it had to be.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to we don't want them to miss an opportunity to
Sure.
sell an item too, so we have that solved too.
That's what's going to take Galt into the.
All right.
Okay, thanks, you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the information, and we all will support. Thank you. Next.
No more public comment.
Thank you. Next agenda item H, report by city council members on regional board, commission, and committee. Vice Mayor Lozano.
Yeah, I'm going to be really short. We have a SACOG board meeting this Thursday up in Placerville, and look forward to that. And Councilmember Papineau is going to fill in for me for the October SACOG meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Council Member Papineau.
Nothing right now. Of the Cable Television Commission tomorrow and air quality next week, so I'll report on those next time.
Thank you. Council Member Farmer.
I have nothing to report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Council Member Benenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Sacramento Homeless Council. There was a lot of discussion about the Supreme Court decision and how the state will address that. People really didn't get answers. I think it's going to take some time for municipalities to execute as they see fit before that shakes out. On the upside, there's been a significant drop in homeless people in the Sacramento. That's all.
Thank you. Myself, I did attend on September 12th, the Transportation Authority meeting. And there is a couple things we did discuss, and most of it belong to the other part of the Sacramento County. Introduce of SB Bond Cycle for Local Partnership Program. Project nomination. The second, receive a presentation on county-wide priorities and authority, a letter to SACOG on their 2024 regional project prioritize. There is a lot of project in the future coming in Sacramento County, and there is only one project, or there is something I think is belong to Galt. This is a rural Sacramento County farm to fork route could expand to exclude EDCD, STA, and the city of Elk Grove, Galt, and Alton. I think that's a 25 million, the budget on that, and I will certainly will ask Public Work Director, he can look into this one, and if we need to apply, and it can be a next end of this year. Thank you, John. So you can look them up on this one. We can discuss after. Thank you. And then next agenda item is I, information consent calendar. It is recommended that item 1 through 7 be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion or required by a council member. Any council member want to pull any item from consent calendar?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item I3, please.
I3. On this consent calendar, anybody from the staff want to make any comment on any item? Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tricia Kobe, Human Resources Director. Item 7 before you on consent has been slightly updated since we posted the agenda. We have met with the Galt Public Service Unit on their concerns over the transfer of the litter abatement duties. It was decided to keep the litter abatement worker classification under the Facilities Division within Public Works. The updated classification removes the oversight of the litter abatement worker, and the org chart has been updated to only reflect code compliance under the city manager's direct report. Both documents are available for the public in the back of council chambers, and they will also be posted on the website. All other information remains unchanged.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you read from item 1 through 7, except item number I3 on the consent calendar?
Yes. Item I1, receive and file warrants for period ending September 5th, 2024. Recommended action, receive and file warrants for the period ending September 5th, 2024. I2, minutes of the regular meeting of September 3rd, 2024. Accept the minutes as submitted. I4, fiscal year 2022-23 accounts receivable write-off of uncollectible accounts. Recommended action, approve the write-offs of uncollectible receivables in the amount of $11,980 in accordance with the city's write-off policy. Item I5, subject information technology server replacement. Recommended action, adopt a resolution authorizing the information technology director to purchase 5 new servers in the amount not to exceed $76,874.56. I6, subject amendment to agreement for consultant services with West Yost Associates for consulting engineering services for the wastewater treatment plant chemical facility project, CIP 521B, CEQA exempt, section 15164. Recommended action, adopt a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute amendment number 2 to the consultant services agreement with West Yost Associates in the amount of $17,282 for the wastewater treatment plant chemical facility project, CIP 521B. And item I7, approval of the new code compliance supervisor classification, salary range, and revised salary schedule for the unrepresented mid-management unit. Recommended action, adopt a resolution establishing the code compliance supervisor classification, approving the proposed job specifications, establishing the salary range, and approving the revised unrepresented mid-management salary schedule.
Thank you. Any public comments on consent calendar?
Yes, we do. We have Bonnie Rodriguez for I3. Oh, excuse me, that
Bonnie,
one was
This can
pulled.
be a next.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No other public comment.
If there is no public comment, I would like to look the motion to approve the consent calendar from 1 through item number 7, except I3.
So moved.
Second.
Is moved by Vice Mayor Lozano, second by Council Member Benberg. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau.
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye, motion passes with 5-0. Thank you. Next agenda item I3, subject interim city manager contract amendment. Council Member Farmer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I only pulled this item because I pulled it in the spirit of transparency. I know that just to back up a little bit. For those of you who don't know, our previous city manager, when he left, we had a choice to either go out to recruit a new city manager, which can be a very lengthy process. Mr. Reyes had, through whatever communications, had expressed his interest in filling that role temporarily for Galt, being that Mr. Reyes, had previously worked for the city of Galt for many years, was very familiar. It seemed like a very easy fit and bring him into that role. And we, it made sense at the time to do that. And so none of us wanted to go out for recruitment. So we brought him in, and he, wanted to come in for a year. We've been very pleased with him. I'm going to say I, because I can't speak on the, so I have been very pleased with his work. So this has nothing to do with not being happy with him. I feel that Chris has done a great job, and but the year has come very quickly. We have a lot of things going on in town. I think we're moving the ball in the right direction. I think everything is moving the way we want to. Things are going smoothly to my satisfaction, and so we had a discussion, and I can only say that I personally, think it's a good thing to renew and extend his contract for 1 year. He has expressed the willingness to do so just for that period, and I think it makes sense. I personally don't have a stomach for going out for recruitment right now, and I don't think we have the time for that. So I just wanted to say, in the spirit of transparency, because this was on the consent calendar, and I was approached by a citizen today who, the optics of it were that we were just doing this, on the consent and not as an open discussion item, which we had the right to do that legally. But I just wanted to pull it to just kind of give a little bit of overview to the public on my mindset personally, on what that decision was. And when a new council comes in, probably midsummer, we'll have to start talking about, how to deal with his departure at the end of next year and how we're going to recruit or what we're going to do at that point, how to do that and what those decisions. So for the time being, I was very happy with renewing the contract for the year. I've been very happy with your work, Chris, so far in your communication with myself, and I think probably the council is very happy as well. So I just wanted to state that for the public. So with that, Mayor, I do support item I3. Just want to state that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second?
Any public comment? I think Bonnie agrees is on this agenda item.
So I'm not sure I need to say anything because Sean kind of took the words out of my mouth. This has nothing to do with Chris or Mr. Arias. I think also he's done a really great job, but the optics of this have been a little off because, as you remember, the last time we went out to recruit, it was very public. The public was very well aware of what was going on, that we were recruiting. We had brought in the interim city manager at the time, but there was a lot of discussion on moving forward from an interim, and there just hasn't been any discussion publicly anyway as to where the city is going. Obviously, Chris can only survive so long as an interim, and so there is an obvious next step that has to happen, but there's been no discussion publicly at all about it other than what Mr. Farmer just did right now. So that was what I was coming forward to say, is that, of course, I've always been about messaging and being out in front of everything and having the narrative out there so that you can control that. And so that's what I was going to come up and ask. I don't know what the narrative is. I don't know what the plan is, but I think the point is no one else in this room does either. Hoping that you're looking forward. I'm hoping that the discussion happens well before summer, because recruiting can take a long time. We've all seen it. And so maybe the first of the year, new council, whoever makes it to council, that's a discussion, whether you're looking inside, whether it means bringing in mentors or what, someone in to come in and evaluate so we don't have this revolving door with our city managers. Maybe we can really put a lot of thought in there, and extending Mr. Arias's contract for a year gives that time to be able to really put the thought into bringing in who really can fit with Galt and can fight for us and is supportive of the current staff or whoever is on staff. I can't speak to what Mr. Brosman said technically, but I can only imagine that if there's not a permanent leader near in sight, that maybe that could be throwing staff off. I don't know. There's a lot of, what ifs and whatever, but maybe being a little bit more transparent with the public on what your ideas are and what's going, what the thought process is might be a better narrative. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Any other public comment regarding this agenda item?
No, there isn't.
If it's not, then I believe this agenda item moved by Council Member Farmer, second by Vandenberg. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg?
Aye.
Mayor Sandu?
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Thank you. All right, next agenda item is J, schedule matter notice of public hearing. I believe there is no schedule matter and there is no public hearing. Next agenda item K, regular calendar, City Council Office. Subject number 1, City Council Public Benefit Funding. Yeah.
So we are recommending approved by motion allocating Councilmember Farmer's $1,000 allotted benefit funds to the Galt Junior Warriors Youth Football and Cheer Organization.
Thank you. Any public comment on this agenda item?
No.
Anybody in this, in the room in that organization, Galt Junior Warrior?
Mr. Mayor, good evening, Councilman. I'm Noel Campos, president of the Galt Junior Warriors Youth Football and Cheer. It's probably a name that hasn't been around, heard in this community in probably, 5-6 years. It was a staple in the community for a very, very long time. It used to be known as the Galt Chiefs, and in the early 2000s got changed to the Galt Junior Warriors. I know some of you probably had kids that probably played in the Chiefs or probably came up as a Chief or came up as a Junior Warrior. Unfortunately, when COVID hit in 2019, it shut the doors down. It devastated the community. It devastated a lot of the kids. And this is the first year we're bringing it back. Started from nothing, from zero. Nothing was left from the old organization. Had to buy all new equipment, all new pads, all new uniforms, all new jerseys, all new everything, renting the facilities from the school district. So a lot of what we do, a lot of the funding that we get comes from sponsorships, comes from donation, comes from fundraising. There's a lot of underprivileged kids that come through our program that we offer scholarships, sponsorships, sponsor them because they can't afford to play. So we figured out as a team to help all these kids. We have 97 football players, 31 cheerleaders. The majority of them are from this side of town. They all grew up in the Meadowview area or in the low income area. I was one of those kids growing up. So this program holds a dear spot in my heart. And with the support of the community, the support of the city, the support of the city council, this program will be here for a very, very, very long time. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly, truly appreciate all the support that we've seen from the community. We've seen from Councilman Farmer and his colleagues and everybody. It's just, I'm a humbled man tonight. I really am. Because this program will be here for a very, very long time. And the funds that we get, it goes directly back to the kids. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the kids. It's all about helping every child, not just through football, but helping them with, their schools and studies. We also, offer, mentorship, tutoring and all that to help all these kids to grow in life. So I appreciate it, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody, any question or comment?
I just want to make a comment.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to thank you for coming and speaking tonight. I just want to say I was invited out by the chamber to do a ribbon cutting for Junior Warriors, and I was actually floored by how, I came and I was like, I couldn't believe how many people were there and how I was kind of impressed by how well organized it was, that I couldn't believe that it had been, that it wasn't a continuation of the program. And they briefed me on how long it had been. I knew that it wasn't operational anymore, but I didn't realize how long it had been. And just to see what you guys had done from like nothing, it was highly impressive. I mean, the program itself is and then as I've been to several games trying to help out with the announcing and stuff, and I mean, the amount of people that show up and the fans, it's crazy. So obviously is a huge expense behind it. And so, seeing the massive list of sponsors, just 100, small amounts, but everybody's willing to put something in there, people from all over the community. So anyways, I felt obligated to, I felt it was a good fit for my discretionary funds. So hopefully you guys put them to good use. So, yeah.
Thank you. If nobody have no comment, then I would like to move this agenda item K1. Any second? It's moved by the mayor, second by Council Member Bernberg. Madam Clerk may have a roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg?
Aye.
Mayor Sandu?
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Next agenda item K2, subject City Council Public benefit funding. Madam Clerk.
We are recommending to approve by motion allocating Councilmember Vandenberg's $1,000 allotted public benefit funds to the Sunshine Food Pantry and Resource Center, Inc.
Thank you. Anybody from Sunshine Food Pantry Resource Center in the audience want to make a comment? If it's not, any public comment on this agenda item?
There is no public comment.
All right, any council member wants to make any comment or?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's been a real pleasure this evening. We've heard from the Beautification Committee, Commission on Aging, Parks and Recreation, Planning Commission, now Mr. Farmer's donation, and myself. These are all groups that help make this community exactly what it is. For those that weren't here, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the Sunshine Food Pantry has basically served as many people this year in half the time. They just served a lot of people. I shouldn't say it that way, but they've served a lot more people, and I think it's because of the economic stress, and they're actually preventing a lot of people from going hungry and maybe end up being homeless because they can't afford to buy groceries under this stressful economic time. So having said that, I look forward to the support of my fellow council members.
Thank you.
So moved.
It will move by Council Member Vandenberg, second by Council Member Farmer. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer? Yes. Councilmember Vandenberg?
Aye.
Mayor Zandu?
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. The agenda item K2. Move to the next agenda item, City Manager's Office. Subject, Small Business Assistant Grant Matching Program. City Manager or Ms. Manager?
Evening, Mayor, members of City Council.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me, Ms. Mendez, if I will, I need to, I'm going to be recusing myself from this item tonight, Mr. Mayor, as my family and I have a business within the sphere of this program, and so not to be a conflict with that, I am going to remove myself from this discussion and from the vote. And if someone can just let me know when this item discussion's over, and I can come back in. Thank you.
So that means it might be, I think this agenda item can be a first round, then it can be second round, can be all over, right? So I might have to accuse myself on this agenda item. So I will let Vice Mayor take over this agenda item.
Actually, I think it's okay, Mayor Sandu, because if it goes to round two, it opens up to all the businesses at that point. So it's not sure that there will be a round two, right? It's only if funds are allowed. There for sure will be a round one. If it's round two, all the businesses will be treated similarly. So the public generally exception would apply, so you can participate.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Mendez.
Evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Amy Mendez, the Interim Community Development Director, here this evening to speak on the Small Business Assistance Grant Match Program. So some background with regard to how we've gotten to this point here. In May of 2022, the City Council approved the COVID-19 Small Business Assistance and Recovery Grant Program and allocated $1.3 million to the program from ARPA funding. After 2 rounds of applications, 68 small businesses were awarded grants, totaling nearly $790,000. Roughly $500,000 remained of the initial $1.3 million allocation at conclusion of the program. Fast forward to March 2023, the Galt District Chamber of Commerce presented the Visit Galt initiative to City Council. The Chamber proposed allocating the funds remaining from the COVID-19 Small Business Assistance and Recovery Grant Program to support the Visit Galt initiative. A month later, City Council voted to establish a City Council ad hoc committee to further review the Chamber's proposal. City Council Ad Hoc Committee was comprised of 2 city council members, Councilman Vandenberg and Councilman Papanow were on the committee, along with chamber representatives and city staff. Ultimately, the ad hoc committee recommended that the funds remaining from the program be allocated to bolster the revitalization efforts of Old Town and provide support to the existing small businesses in Galt. As you may recall, back in March of this year, City Council provided direction for staff to direct the remaining ARPA funding to 4 different programs. One was a small business grant match program that we're discussing tonight. The other was a Galt Chamber Memorandum of Understanding, and that was approved in May of this year. We also were to allocate funding to an Old Town Visionary Plan and to a small business security assessment program. So here we are with the Small Business Assistant Grant Match Program that's being proposed this evening. The council allocated $200,000 to the small business program. And the program really was developed to foster partnerships and maximize investment in Old Town Galt and other commercial areas within the community. Essentially, the program offers assistance on a 50-50 matching basis, with the city matching 50% of private investment funds up to $20,000 per applicant. The minimum grant request would be $2,000. The chart here shows kind of a scenario breakdown on how it would work with different application amounts. So if a business had a total project budget of $60,000, the applicant would contribute $40,000, and then the city's maximum grant would be $20,000. If their total project budget was $40,000, the city would match with the $20,000 grant for the total project budget. And if the total project budget for a business was $20,000, we would match that 50% with $10,000. So that's sort of the breakdown on the way that the program has been created. The eligible use of funds would be for improvements to interior tenant improvements, for accessibility compliance, for ADA improvements to exterior or interior of the building, equipment acquisition, so this would be really to enhance service offerings and improve business efficiency and competitiveness. Facade improvements on the exterior of buildings to enhance aesthetic appeal and enrich the overall ambiance of the commercial corridor. Outdoor dining opportunities. Here we are looking to provide funding for exterior improvements that facilitate outdoor dining opportunities to activate the sidewalks, streets, create really kind of a lively atmosphere on the outdoor area. And then signage updates would be funded for improved visibility and ambiance, making businesses more attractive and inviting to customers. So these are essentially the categories that we would be willing to fund grants with. The requirements for the eligibility for businesses would be that they reside in the qualifying area and qualifying zoning. So for round one, the idea was that we really wanted to focus on the Old Town area, and that was the initial focus when I had come to council back in March. And there was some discussion, I think council wanted to, if funds were remaining after round one, we would open the grant opportunities up for all of the commercial businesses in town. So essentially the way this would work is we would open this for the first round of funding dedicated to downtown commercial businesses. This says downtown commercial zone. There's a map that was handed out to council this evening. It's actually included at the end of this presentation. I'll just show it right now so everybody can see it. Initially, we were proposing the downtown commercial zone to be the boundary in the downtown area. So C Street kind of runs through the middle. The bright red area on the right-hand side of the screen is where the, are you trying to get to it with the arrow? No. Thank you. The bright red area would be kind of the Save Mart Shopping Center area along C Street. And then the commercial corridor along C is the downtown commercial zoning that we would be providing funding to. It was brought to my attention today that there's actually a business operating on the corner of B and 5th Street, the old Brewster House. And so there was a desire for those businesses to be included as part of this. And so I'm actually going to ask council to expand the boundaries to include the downtown mixed-use area. That's the only business in that boundary. So if we include the downtown commercial zone along with the downtown mixed-use area, only businesses would apply in that area with storefront locations. And so that includes the Brewster House. So if everybody's on board with that, we would change that slightly to include the downtown mixed-use area. Round 2 would be for any commercial zoning district in the city, which would be highway commercial zoning or traditional commercial zones. So that encompasses really every commercial business operating in the city for the most part. I would envision that round 1 would be open for approximately 60 days. I would like to open it on October 1st and have it open through the end of November, go through the funding and allocation and determine how much money is remaining before we open it for all of the commercial zones. So that would be January 1st, essentially, would be sort of parameters on what we're looking at for dates. The applicant must be the property owner or have written approval from the property owner to support the proposed improvements. If the applicant is the tenant, they must provide proof of a lease with at least 3-year term remaining. The applicant will submit a detailed description of the qualifying improvements or purchases along with a detailed cost estimate with their application. And the applicant will be required to include renderings for any proposed exterior improvements, such as facade improvements, outdoor dining, or signage updates. The process itself, essentially the applicant would complete and submit the Small Business Assistance Grant Match Program application and submit it with all of the required supporting documentation. All of that is detailed in the program guidelines, which are included in your packet. The applications will be reviewed on a first-come, first-served basis for completeness and to ensure that the eligibility criteria are met. Applicants who have submitted a completed application and meet all eligibility requirements will be notified of a grant award. This is pretty cut and dry in terms of the qualifications for the area. I've done quite a bit of outreach to the businesses already, and there's a lot of interest from the downtown businesses. I think there's a few of them here tonight that would like to speak. And after project completion, essentially we would verify the expenses and the improvements that were completed, and we would provide a reimbursement up to 50% of the approved grant amount. Maximum grant amount, again, would be $20,000. In terms of the fiscal impact, I mentioned at the beginning that the Galt District Chamber of Commerce MOU was finalized in May. That was roughly $115,000. So we have about $390,000 remaining from the initial COVID-19 Small Business Assistance Grant. And it's recommended that council allocate the $200,000 to the Small Business Assistance Grant Match Program, which would result in a balance of roughly $190,000 to fund the Old Town Visionary Plan and the Security Assessment Program for small businesses. I am happy to answer any questions if anybody has any, take any comments.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez. Back to the council. Go ahead, Vice Mayor Lozano.
Yeah, I just have one clarification question. I like the eligibility requirements and what has to be submitted. However, the question popped up into my mind is sometimes cost estimates, depending on when you get them and who you get them from, are limited in time. And so I just want to make sure, I know this program is going to be out hot and people are going to do it, right? So I want to make sure that we have the capacity to review applications in a timely manner and get them pushed out as quickly as possible. And the thing that popped into my mind is if I'm going to get a cost estimate from a company to do improvements on my business, which I don't have a business like this, just so everybody knows, would I have enough time to get all that paperwork in and then have the city respond in a timely fashion? And is there anything in place to address that?
Well, I think that we will start marketing the program immediately. We do have all of the marketing material that's been put together already. So we'll push that out to our downtown business distribution list immediately so that they can review what the qualifying criteria are. There are some insurance requirements in there as well, so we need to make sure that the businesses are aware of what those requirements are going to be, because that's required to be submitted along with the application. So we'll start that immediately, and then if we need to, if it looks like it's going to be, if there's a lot of interest and we think that there's going to be some, a list of businesses that we need to review, I think ultimately what we're going to be doing is reviewing them as they come in, so first come, first serve. I will be part of the committee reviewing the applications, but documenting all of the requirements that need to be included as part of the packet. There's somebody in my department that's going to be reviewing that, so that'll help kind of expedite things. Again, the criteria are pretty standard and straightforward, and so I don't think there's going to be much discretion there in terms of us kind of making decisions on what fits or doesn't. If they fit the criteria, the funding will be allocated, and so that grant award piece will be notified of them immediately as soon as we have that application and we're able to review it.
So that brings up another question for me. So let's say and I'm going to say this facetiously, I know this isn't going to be the issue, but let's say a T isn't crossed or an I isn't dotted. Do we have a plan to reach back out and say, hey, you forgot this little piece here, can you get this to us?
Yes, and actually in the program guidelines, we are encouraging applicants to reach out to us first, kind of to have a discussion to make sure that they have everything ready to go before they're submitting, because we don't want just a submission that's half done that we're going to have to go back and try to walk them through. So we're trying to attack that at the beginning with some clear criteria, an outline of what's going to be required to be submitted. Again, the cost estimate piece, I will let them know that the grant has been awarded. They have to pay for it. There's some prevailing wage issues that we're trying to avoid, and so we want to make sure that we're able to do that on a reimbursement basis is kind of what the plan would be. So we're not, because really the holdup wouldn't be us making a decision on who meets the criteria. It really would be on trying to get businesses set up as vendors and the invoicing and the checks released through finance, because that does have some lag time. So I think that would be the holdup more than anything.
Well, I have every faith in our city staff to be able to do this. I just am still a little apprehensive about not necessarily the turnaround time, but an example would be if I owned that business and I was going to do this project and got cost estimates last month. They may be running up against a deadline or then have to do the extra step of bringing the people out to ensure that that cost estimate's the same. And so I just want to make sure that we do everything we can up front to front load and make it as easy as possible for businesses. And then lastly is, when is it going to open? You may have mentioned it, I heard.
October 1st is when we would like to have it open.
Okay, and then we would run that through January?
The end of November for
Okay.
round one. So for the downtown mixed use and downtown commercial zoned businesses, that would be through the end of November. So 60 days is how long we would open that for.
Okay.
And then we would close it probably during the month of December, try to get back on track on what we funded and what applications we have and what funding is remaining, and then open it back up in the 1st of January for all businesses.
Okay. It's ambitious. That's a quick turnaround, especially when you're, and I'm sure it will work because you guys make everything work, but that's a quick turnaround if I've already have a cost estimate in hand, ready to go.
And I think we could be sensitive too to some of the larger, ticket price items, like some of the construction projects, as opposed to like the equipment purchases. Those ones are a little bit easier. So being sensitive, I think, to those to make sure that some of those larger ones we're paying attention to, and we're communicating with the business. I think that that's really going to be the key at the end of it, to know kind of what that timeline is for them.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning that you've reached out to a lot of the businesses already, and so hopefully we'll get a good response and people will do what they can to improve their businesses. So that's all I have for now. I'd like to hear from public comment at some point.
Thank you. Any other council member?
Yeah, one question that just popped to mind after those. So if we get through the first 60 days and we have a certain amount left, and then we get, I understand it's a first come, first serve basis. If we get a flood of citywide applications, that would still be first come, first serve, or would we need to look at some way of distributing that equitably if we get a whole bunch of applications on the same day?
Well, I think that when it comes to round two, we're going to have to really take a look at how much funding is remaining. You know, the last thing I want to do is open it up to all businesses in the city and there be, you know, $1,000 left in the fund, right? So that is something that we'll have to take a look at the end of the program. I know there's been a lot of buzz about it in the Old Town area, so you know, we'll see. Ideally, I would love to see it all go to Old Town businesses because, you know, that's really what the focus is. However, if there is funding remaining, we'll take a look at kind of what's remaining and what can be allocated. And if it's first come, first serve, we'll definitely have to take a step back, I think, if there's not a lot of funding there.
Yeah, I was just envisioning that, you know, that 60 days, the buzz increases and everybody's lining up on day one of the second rounds.
And we might have to change, you know, that first come, first serve in terms of the Old Town area. I think it's a little more viable for all of the businesses. We may have to look at some other type of way of doing the allocation and choosing who is, you know, going to be selected. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment on this agenda item?
Yes, we have two of them. The first one will be Sam Mitchell.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Sandu, and, well, esteemed members of the city staff, my buddy Chris over there, and Chief. Hey, my name's Sam Mitchell. Look, I totally support this. I think it's a great thing. Amy and I have talked about this, I think, pretty much extensively. The only problem I have about it is the scope. The scope of this is completely creeped, okay? The initial committee recommendation, even the slides you showed that this was to benefit Old Town. And now it's going to go expand to the downtown commercial district. The exact things you brought up, the time for me to get rendering, quotes, to do big capital investments, to do CapEx projects, I don't have time to compete against 200 businesses. Maybe 20, but not 200. So again, I think the idea of this was to help Old Town. Old Town is unique. It's a historic part of our community. Its revitalization is important to the entire city. I urge the council to reconsider the program's scope and ensure that it prioritizes the needs of Old Town while also supporting the small businesses throughout the entire downtown commercial district. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks a lot. Any other public comment?
Yes, we have Phyllis Johnson. John, you might be up again. Yes, it's on.
Ron, okay. I only see one foreseeable problem, and I'd like to ask the speaker on this one directly. It seems that this is for businesses that are already established. What about people coming in and the growth of Galt for future businesses? How are they going to be contacted for this same privilege? How's that going to be handled? Or are you doing it only for businesses that are already established? Because that's what it seems to be.
New businesses would be eligible as long as they have a lease in place. So if a new business were coming in, I had a conversation yesterday with a property owner on the corner of 4th and C Street. It's actually a vacant building. And so the discussion was this property would be eligible if they had a new business that were coming in. And so we've allowed new businesses to be included as part of it, as long as they have a lease for a property in the
Okay, because some of them may take like maybe an older building or something and it may need refurbishing or whatever, but that would bring in more business and a future of Galt. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Any other public comment?
We have two more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gail?
Hey, good evening. I am the manager of Laheim, which is the only nonprofit that I know of on 4th Street. I want to know if we're eligible. I mean, we're not a traditional business. We're a nonprofit that gives back to the community. And also, I saw that it said it was a minimum of $2,000. Is that your reimbursement? So we have to come up with a $4,000 expenditure? Or, okay, because we are in need of some new equipment and stuff like that. I mean, I would be thrilled to get free money. It's what we live for as a nonprofit. So we are eligible to participate in this?
I actually had not contemplated nonprofits. I'm looking at Frank to see if there's any.
Okay, because we could
look at, some we could look at. I would just say that for now.
'Cause they do have a storefront in the
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah, we have a storefront on 4th Street, so.
Yeah, I think the key is revitalization of the aesthetic, the historic, all that stuff. So we didn't exclude it in the program guidelines, so I would think so.
So we believe that we're probably, I mean, we can always apply and find out from there. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Becky?
Okay, so I have the black building with the weird black roof right in Old Town. So if you didn't take it to downtown commercial, that's what I would use it for on mine. I want to replace that roof. It doesn't leak or anything, but it's an eyesore. So although these guys are the most supportive people on the planet, you know, but also everything stops at Old Town. So you have the gateway to Old Town, which is C Street where my business is. So I'd really like to get a new roof, and that's what I want to use it for. And also the people that walk around my property, the other part of it, I want to put a fence up because they're scary people. But anyway, so that's what I would do with it. So I would appreciate if you guys would bring it down C Street into the downtown commercial that would cover clear to Lincoln. The original Old Town is where Lincoln, the Four Corners is, right? So, thank you.
Thank you.
No further comments.
Thank you. I'm going to bring back to the council. Any comment on this issue, council?
I do have a question. Basically, we already had our original round of this, and I think Mr. Mitchell makes an excellent point. Per your own words, Ms. Mendez, you hope it all would go to downtown. So what was the participation in the first round? Do you, from that experience, do you think that there will be a flood or a trickle?
Are you referring to the first initial COVID-19 grant?
Yeah.
Those came from all over the city.
Right, but if I don't remember the number of businesses, if we have 500 businesses, we didn't get 500 applications, we got 150. It was a bit of a challenge, and I know I actually helped try to get people informed.
We went through a couple of iterations of the COVID grant application. That one was a little unique because it did require lost revenue, so that was the caveat for that grant itself. But we did, I think at the end of it, we funded 68 businesses total. So not all businesses are looking to do, major investments. So I don't know if it would be a flood. I do know there's a handful of businesses that are interested. Yes,
Okay.
68 small businesses. So we gave out roughly $790,000.
I'm curious of my fellow council members' feelings about Mr. Mitchell's public comment.
comment?
I do real quick. Ms. Mendez, could you put the map back up that we all have?
Rose
Okay.
is trying to pull it up right now.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, hold on one second.
And the downtown commercial is well, I guess it looks purple to me, but it's marked with DC. And then
Correct.
the additional area that you're talking about is the DMU, right?
Yes, the downtown mixed use.
And that is in violet.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And so in that area, during your presentation, you made a comment about one business that would be eligible. Is it because there's only one business in that area that meet the criteria, or did I mishear that?
A real oddity down there on the corner of B and 5th Street is the old Brewster House. That's the only commercial business in the DMU zone. I'm not sure how it even ended up operating in the DMU zone, but I'm assuming that it had been there prior to the zoning being done on that property. So
You see where it's written R2 there, you know where Brewster's is, and it's,
yeah.
So it's just behind that.
Right, yeah, I see where
I
that
guess.
you're talking about, yeah.
And really, I mean, the purpose behind, it's hard to put a boundary around the Old Town area specifically. I think I've mentioned this before, Old Town, downtown. The mention of kind of the Lincoln Way area being the downtown area, but the Old Town being farther down. Where that boundary is, there's no real determining factor for Old Town. And so the downtown commercial zoning really is your downtown corridor. And so that's why that boundary was used for the zoning.
And so just so I'm really clear, because I got to get it in my mind, the downtown mixed-use zoning area that you're talking about, there's one business that would qualify under this
Correct.
today.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Okay.
it's the Brewster House, which has multiple businesses in
Right,
it.
right.
Yes, but one building.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So to address your question there, Jay, it's a tough call because, and I'm thinking about just being out at the market Saturday and where it creeps to, and going down C Street, it extends a little further every time, and how do you draw that line where how far up C Street is considered downtown, or Old Town? It's downtown, but is what's Old Town? That's a tough call, and therefore a question that you may or may not be prepared for within the DC, just the purple area that you're proposing. How many businesses are in there, if you have that available?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, it's understandable, and I wish I had that question when I met with the city manager yesterday, but I hadn't thought of that dilemma until it was brought up right now.
I mean, $200,000 is a lot of money, but if businesses just had $5,000 or $10,000 grants, it can go in a hurry. As you were talking, I was thinking about when I grew up here in Lincoln Way, all the way downtown to down F Street seems like Old Town to me. But I just thought it was a fair question and wanted to get some feedback. I agree with you. It's very tough. It's you want everybody to do well. Personally, I guess the bottom line is the opportunity is there. In my heart, all that could use the help. I think of different businesses there. I don't see any harm that would happen if one business got it and the other one didn't. I can't pick favorites between any individual, so I would tend to leave it as is, to be quite honest.
All right, I'm agree with other council member. This is a hard decision. I also see that the first time, that's the we are just making the kind of boundary. So it can be hard, but I believe in the future, let's see if something else we can do, make something different in the future or more discussion. So this agenda already here, so I would like, if no other public comment, I would like to ask to approve that agenda item.
I'll move to approve it as is.
All right, it's moved by Council Member Papineau.
Second.
It's second by Council Member Berenberg. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
I have one more question, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
May I?
Go ahead, no problem.
So as it relates to the Brewster House, if there's a second round, they would be eligible for that?
Correct.
Okay. So I just need clarification on the motion because I'm inclined to allow them to participate in the second piece.
And my error on the motion was, as Ms. Mendez recommended, the approval with the Brewster House.
Added
in.
Yeah, I mean, you said approve as presented, and it included the iteration to the Brewster House as previously described. So I think your motion is still valid.
All right, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau.
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye, motion passes by 4-0. Thank you. Can somebody call Councilman Farmer?
I think Frank's getting him.
All right, next agenda item L, any communication, Madam Clerk?
None.
Thank you. Next agenda item is City Clerk's report.
Nothing.
Thank you. Next agenda item N comes by staff.
Good evening, Mayor. Yes, we have a couple. Parks and Rec Director Armando Solis.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'd just like to remind you and the community that we will be having our Park Master Plan Community events at Saturday at 10 a.m. at Monterey Park, 2 p.m. at Community Park, and then Sunday, 10 a.m. Walker Community Park, and 2 p.m. at Meadowview Park. So if you guys could get all that information out, it'll be out on our social media, and we encourage everybody to attend and participate.
Next, Police Chief Kalinowski.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I see on my calendar we have Coffee with a Cop on October 2nd from 9 to 11 at Cafe Latte. So that's our next scheduled one, and it's the day after our next council meeting. So I wanted to give you a heads up in advance, and we'll put information out on our social media. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
And then, Mayor, real quick, I want to thank the council for the vote of confidence and the contract. I look forward to working with you and staff and people to improve the quality of life of the people who live, work, and do business here. I'm excited about being back in Galt, and I appreciate the opportunity that you provided. And I want to say I appreciate Matt's service for the city. Certainly going to miss him when he does leave. He's going to be tough to replace. He guided us successfully through a budget. He helped train a rookie city manager through that process, and I really appreciate the support that you provided through that. So, Matt, you are going to be missed.
Thank you. Next agenda item O, comments by City Council member and future agenda item. Vice Mayor Lozano.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Thank you for the public comment. It's very, very insightful. We don't get a lot of it, and so to have this many people come is very, very heartwarming, actually. Thank you, Matt, for your time here at the city. We're definitely going to miss you. I want to point out that before Matt came, we were struggling a little bit as it relates to our ACFR, which is our annual financial review audit. And since then, we have won several awards for our transparency and budgeting and related to the audit. And so thank you for your work on that and training the people in your department to perform at a very high level. And so it's much appreciated. You're definitely going to be missed. I just had a question for the Park and Rec Director. I know that the next master plan public outreach is like 4 or 5 days away. Do we know when the next ones are after that, and can we get those dates further out, like a couple of weeks out, so that people have a time to plan to attend those?
Yes, we've been promoting these for a week now, I believe. Yeah, soon I can get those out tomorrow.
Okay, I appreciate it. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Papineau?
Well, Matt, I'm not going to go into it because Rich said it probably a lot more correct than I would. But I do really appreciate what you did to work with Lorenzo to correct some issues that we had. So we'll leave it at that. So it's much appreciated, and best of luck to you in Manteca. And then just an observation. It's been almost 4 years, and I think this is the most positive council meeting I've been at. From the beginning to the commission, the reports, I was hearing things like the mural project, which Amy's already addressing, and everybody's working together, and then the nonprofits, and this fair with the kids that I'm really looking forward to. You know, everybody was positive, and it's great to see how everybody, the city, the chamber, and the community are working together. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Councilmember Farmer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few items. First, I wanted to thank the police department for your all that you did yesterday during that whole school thing that was going on, and I appreciate the statement that you guys put out. It was very helpful. People get really uneasy until they see, you know, something coming from the higher ups, giving them, you know, the right information and stuff, and then it kind of squalls all the rumors and things that are going on. So thank you for that. Next, I want to say thank you to Amy Mendez and her team and all the people behind the scenes that work with you, that have been putting out social media posts for the C Street businesses. I know you guys have been promoting those businesses and sharing their specials and all things about those businesses. I saw one just a little while ago, and so I appreciate that, and I'm sure they appreciate it as well. So those continued efforts are great. I wanted to mention, as it was said by someone, we had Senator Nilo today, hosted by the chamber, and they were at our business for a while, and it was great. We had a lot of people turn out, and some great questions were asked, and I want to thank the city manager for showing up. He was there, and you know, it's not often that people get a chance to speak to someone at the higher level, but I passed along some questions that have been given to me by citizens relating to water usage and development, and growth mandates, you know, a lot of things that are things we hear a lot about. So we talked about Prop 47 and Prop 36 and how those, hopefully the 36 will help offset the impacts that 47 has. And all those things affect Galt in a big way, as our police chief will tell you. So hopefully, and this council has obviously expressed our full support of Prop 36. So hopefully that does pass. And just to echo what Rich said and Kevin said about, you know, all the public comment, we appreciate it. A lot of times we don't have anybody in the audience. So I do appreciate all you guys making time to come to our meeting and giving public comment and see kind of how things work up here with us and the job that we have. Because sometimes it's not easy, and a lot of times we just do it in an empty room. So, and the last thing is, thank you, Matt. Your presentations have never been boring, no matter what anybody has said. I always enjoyed them. Yeah, sometimes I could doze off in financial, but yours have always been good. And on a serious note, I appreciate, you know, I I know I'm one to hammer department heads a lot with questions, and every time I would get you with a question, you always just had the information like right there. It was never like I'd get back to you or anything. So sad to lose you, you know, but I understand maybe the grass is greener over there. Maybe it won't be. But so think twice. Maybe you change your mind.
Yeah.
But no, but wish you good luck in Manteca. It seems to be like we're trading paint with them all the time. I don't know what's going on. So with that, just want to remind everybody the Old Town Dinner Dance is this weekend. If you have not got tickets yet, it's going to be a great event. The weather's going to be beautiful. Stage out on the grass, lights, picnic tables, hay bales, some beautiful music, some great barbecue. Dinners are available at galtchamber.org. They're $45, which is a bargain nowadays with the way everything costs. So be sure to get your tickets. And with that, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wernberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to thank the PD for their public comment. That was it was rather concerning because I just saw the original concern or that post on Facebook, and it's not something we usually see in this neighborhood. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for staff to the report. Congratulations, Mr. Arias. Mr. Boring, congratulations as well. I hope good things happen to you. Thank you for all the public comments. It was a well-rounded meeting. I like what Mr. Pompanel said about it. It's good to see the list of public activity on the agenda instead of boring numbers. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
My felt self is few things. Thank you for the staff. Thank you for all the detailed report. Thank you for the public comment. Tonight, a lot of public comments. Is very important for me. I believe very important for all the council. Thank you for everybody come to this council meeting. And thank you for everybody else come to the council meeting. And I also would like to the future agenda, I would like to ask the council to support me. I would like to recommendation letter to the high school student Miguel Garcia. He was recognized his achievement on Galt High School soccer last year. He was the #1 goal soccer in the entire country. I would like to ask the council to support on the recognition letter.
Very much so.
Thank you. And thank you, Matt, for your service. And we can miss you, but we also like to, you know, you're going to better place, you're going to close to your house. I would like to adjourn the meeting 7:51.